What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Age, and I am back to feed the girls. So let's hop in and dine. Episode 2 of Even Sun starts off rewinded back to the night before Sun saw his enemy again, the boat captain, and he and Nemo are in the room eating cup ramen. They are getting along pretty well until Sun sees a giant as a roach crawling up the wall. Let me tell you, I 100% back Sun on this because I can't stand a roach either. They are the scum of the earth and they have the audacity to just mosey on in. They are so disrespectful. And Nemo just casually catches the roach with his cup ramen. And Sun and I are like, what the fuck? After the credits came on, and might I add how much I really like the theme song of the show, especially when he starts singing really, really fast. When you have an opportunity, go listen to the theme song of the show, okay? The next scene is the next morning, and the boys are waiting to catch the boat to the other island. And the guy that Sun sees come pick them up is none other than the same guy Sun is beefing with. And it's also the same guy that Sun had on that picture in his pocket of the guy he is supposed to collect the debt from. So his enemy, the boat captain, is the guy he is collecting from. And that's surprising because yesterday, didn't he see the boat captain? Wouldn't he have realized that was the guy on the picture then? Anyway, Sun tuck-tailed and ran. He forgot his suitcase and ran. While he was running away, he had to stop and ask himself, why am I running? Yes, I had to ask myself that too. Boy, why are you running away from this boy? Then he asked one of the workers at the hotel to help him figure out who those two were, talking about Nemo and the boat captain. The person would not tell him anything. And to be honest, to me, people around these islands are very rude to Sun. Sun isn't even that bad. Now, does he look like a menace? Yes. But is he? I don't really know, but I do know that he isn't really being that rude to people. Just asking questions. So the next scene, we see Ashing is boxing, and he pauses to stop and tells Mancorn to give him some water, as Mancorn has to basically be a servant to Ashing now to pay off his father's debt. I know, it's like crazy, right? So Mancorn tells Ashing, you got two hands. Those two almost fight until Meek had to stop them. Ashing is like, get him out of my sight. Then Meek takes up for Mancorn, and Ty tells Mancorn that, you have to follow the rules or tell your dad to pay the debt quickly. Then Mancorn yells, I'm not paying it, my dad's not paying it because we are poor. So this storyline between Ashing and Mancorn should be a cute little haters to lovers storyline between these two. In the meantime, Athit is fixing his boat and Sun walks by to frolic on the beach. He takes off his shoes to pour the sand out of them as he's trying to talk to Athit, who mostly ignores him. Then Athit tells Sun to go away. And Sun, dejected, begins to back away. But then he steps on a seashell because remember, he's barefoot. Then Athit goes to help Sun and to look at his foot wound. And he does help him, over to the benches on the beach and looks at the bottom of his foot. Sun is bleeding, so Athit takes care of him. And Sun, being the dramatic boy that he is actually acting like a little child that stepped on something instead of a grown adult. Athit goes and gets him some water, but Sun goes to drink the water. Athit pulls it back and tells him, no, this is to wash your foot, idiot. I will admit this. I did a horrible job translating for this show. I am literally having to struggle with these subtitles. The subtitles are so bad with many of these episodes that I am a wee bit lost on some of the conversations they're having exactly. But guys, I'm going to do my best, okay? So, you have been warned. Now, at this point, Athit knows something is up with Sun. He asks Sun, why are you here? Naturally, Sun refuses to tell him why he's there. But we all know Sun isn't the brightest, so he lets it slip a few times that he's there to collect money. And Athit tells Sun to just leave the island. Sun says, if you want me to leave the island, just pay. Athit says, pay what? You told me you were here on the island just for vacation. Boom. At that point, Sun was caught. Then we see Sun's father call, and he puts the phone on speaker, and his dad is asking about the debt. This boy really he's so incompetent, and he is like one brain cell short of. Anyway, Nemo is in a room waiting on the bed. In walks in a short little stocky man. He calls him Honey. And after the stocky little man calls him Honey, he tries to go in for a kiss. This has me to believe that this is an arranged marriage because the little boy, Nemo, looks so uncomfortable. And a stocky little man named JJ believes that Nemo is cheating on him. He accuses Nemo of liking his brother's friend. JJ calls Nemo his wife. Like, yeah, I'm just like, what the hell is going on between these two? Like, why are they even in a relationship and they're acting like it's arranged? I think. So in that whole scene is what's going on in Nemo's mind as he is sitting alone outside. Arthur asks Nemo if he's okay. And family members can tell if something's a little bit off. So he pinpoints and asks if he fought with his boyfriend. But Nemo doesn't really say anything. He doesn't say why. He's kind of upset. And his brother, he doesn't really poke or prod. Nemo asks Arthur if they can go to the other island to see their father's grave. So we learn that these guys don't have their dad around anymore. Anyway, back in his room, Son lost his wallet. I swear, this boy is so irresponsible. Arthur, he comes into the room because Son forgot to lock the door and gives him his wallet back. And of course, Son is like, you stole it. And he's like, no, you forgot it, and I'm bringing it back to you. Arthur is adamant that Son should just go back to Bangkok. And I agree at this point. Like when I tell y'all, incompetent, that is Son. Then Son says, why should I go back? I am your creditor. Do you know who I am? Why does this statement always bite the person who says it in the ass? Do you know who I am? It never ends up well. Arthur looks at him up and down like, seriously, bro? Then he says, you should really leave before you can't leave. And ooh, I was like, that kind of sounds like a threat. And I wouldn't mind any threat coming from this guy. Clearly, we know that Arthur is not about to pay whatever debt this is. So, the next scene, we see Son's dad being very shady. He is trying to get this unsuspecting man, aka this victim, to invest in something very fishy. Yeah, his dad, like, he's a real weird investor, okay? He gives me scammer vibes, but the guy agrees to invest with him, so we'll see. Later on, Son calls his friends and they chat and they ask Son if he has gotten any of the money yet. Son, of course, hasn't, but he diverts the conversation by asking if Ashing has tamed his debtor, aka talking about Mancorn. As the boys are talking shit about Mancorn, he enters the gym. Son lets it slip that Ashing's dad opened a fake boxing gym just to appease Ashing. Clearly, Ashing is upset about that, and he gets extra sensitive whenever Mancorn comes around as well. Mancorn heard that the boxing ring is fake and begins to question Meek about it. Of course, Meek gives him no answers and instead says he asks too many questions. So, the next day, Nemo leaves to see their father's grave on a boat and he goes to Lake Island. Their friend Talay, who works for Arthur, is being nosy and asks if Nemo fought with his boyfriend as well. Because he can kind of tell, Nemo's acting a little bit weird. Talay is like, let's bring the boyfriend out to sea. Basically implying that they're going to kill him and dump his body. It's so crazy. They must really hate Nemo's boyfriend, which I can't understand because I ain't get too good vibes from JJ as well. While they are talking, Son walks toward them and Arthur walks away. So Son gets to Talay and asks if Talay knows Nemo. Talay asks, okay, why are you his boyfriend? So they could dump his body. It is really great that he would fight for Nemo. And I kind of see why. JJ is kind of like, you like your brother's best friend, aka Talay. And yeah, I might add, Talay's name is so cute. What's your name? Talay. Then Son asks about Arthur. The two end up doing lunch. Talay is like, why did you buy me food? Probably thinking that Son must like him or something. Son is like, I need to know all about Arthur's assets. Yo, he must think he can repossess Arthur's things or something. He can't even get 2 pennies to rub together. So Talay says, I'll tell you everything. Red flag. He tells Son, Arthur has this great big treasure and I'll take you to it. This smells like it's set up. In the next scene, we see Ashton exercising, and Mancorn walks up and asks him to have a real and positive conversation instead of being so salty to each other. I agree, because these two have so much tension out of nowhere. Ashton is like, you're like a Sour Patch Kid. Sometimes you're sour, sometimes you're sweet. I can't read you, sir. Mancorn rightfully tells Ashton, you're practicing all of this boxing all the time, but have no real competitor. You should talk to your dad to let you compete for real with an actual human. I think that's sound advice. No harm, no foul. Well, apparently, Ashton's father is a real sore spot for Ashton that Mancorn just happened to poke. Ashton said his dad doesn't care about him, only his businesses. And Ashton said he'd already asked his dad many times to compete for real already. And sometimes it bees like that, man. Parents want what they want for their kids and screw what the kid wants. I mean, look at Ken and Ken Porsche. Mancorn says, I'll be your competitor. Ashton was like, nah. But then Mancorn said, how about doing something you actually like for once? Solid advice, and he was really trying to be nice. So later, Sun, thinking Tale is taking him to Athit's treasure, which I don't believe actually exists, but instead he takes him to this secluded part of the island and starts to interrogate Sun. He's like, you're asking me all these questions about my friends, personal business, but I don't even know you, and you're being so blunt about it. We got issues. I got to figure out, who are you? And then Athit pulls up on his own. And I'm not going to lie, but Sun and Tale kind of looked like they were hiding away on like some secret date or something. That's what it's giving. But I don't think the show went in that direction. Yeah, and Tale was even like holding on to Sun's hand. Like, what's going on, guys? Athit tells Tale to get back to work, so Tale leaves Sun with Athit alone in the secluded part of the jungle. Athit tells Sun once again to leave and go back to Bangkok and stop messing around on the island. Sun is like, I'll leave as soon as you pay me my dad's money. Then Athit says something interesting. He asks Sun, do you trust your dad? Y'all, I knew something about the dad was shady as hell. I told y'all. Here, Athit is just confirming my suspicions. He's like, who's the debtor and who's the creditor? And of course, Sun gets sassy and is like, I'm the creditor. Then he almost falls off the cliff. And that is the ending of episode 2. To be honest, this show could have been way better. They have a lot of elements in here that they could have elaborated on or built up. I don't know if it was budget or time, but the show isn't the best of qualities. Like, they have a beautiful setting. They have beautiful actors. But I feel like it's lacking plot-wise. This show had so much potential. I just believe it could have been built up more. It seemed rushed with only 6 episodes. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see y'all next episode. I will admit that I do like Ashton and Mancorn, and they would actually make a good couple if they could stop being so strange around each other and strange to each other, which Mancorn was trying to at least be civil.